All right, hello and welcome everyone to the Adult Programming Made Easy Part 2 webinar. My name is Beth Yates. I'm the Children's Consultant from the Indiana State Library's Professional Development Office. I will be the host and the question moderator today. Our presenter today is Lacey Klemm, Associate Director of Public Services at the East Chicago Public Library. A few announcements for you before we get started. First of all, to register for other webinars or other trainings available from the Professional Development Office, please see the Indiana State Library's events calendar, which can be found on our website at www.in.gov/library, and then it's under Services for Libraries. This session is 1 hour, so you're eligible to receive one LEU for this presentation. If you're watching a recording of this webinar, instructions on how to obtain your LEU are in the video's description on YouTube, or you can find those instructions on the Indiana State Library's continuing education site under LEU policies. But in short, when you watch a recording, someone in administration at your library should create a certificate for you, as they're the ones who can verify that you watched. Okay, I think we are ready to get started. Our presenter today, again, is Lacey Klemm from the East Chicago Public Library. Take it away, Lacey.
Thank you, Beth. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to bring you 12 more programs. I did Adult Programming Made Easy last year, and it went over very well. And so I was like, let's do this again, because programming is fun, but it can be hard to try to find different ideas that you want to do all the time. So hopefully I'll be able to make that a little bit easier for you. So here we go with 12 more programs adaptable to any library size. So the first one that I have on the list is hammer dyeing with flowers. A lot of these ideas do come from the Programming Librarian website, and then some come from some of the Indiana libraries, and I also found some from some different sites as well. I haven't personally done any of these programs, but I will try to answer as many questions as I can or find the answer for you if I don't know it, because, reference librarian at heart. So what you will need for the hammer flower program, that's not the right title, but we're going to go with it, is you're going to need cotton flower sack towels, obviously flowers, wax paper, if you're doing it for 20 people, 20 small hammers, and alum, if that's how you say it. You do need to do a little pre-prep for this program, because you're going to have to prep the cloth in the alum so that it'll help bind the pigment from the flowers. So just keep that in mind. If this is something that you want to do, there is a little bit of pre-prep for that. The advice that is given for this is that it's noisy. You're going to be hammering on the table, so just make sure that you have a space that you're okay with having a lot of noise in. It can be a fairly inexpensive program. The initial cost of maybe like getting the hammers. This particular library had already had some for different programming, buying the cloth, and then they were able to get flowers from the community, from people's own gardens. So that kind of helped offset the cost of that. So, and then you want to also make sure that you have a good work surface on your tables. Maybe lay down some cardboard so that you're not completely destroying your table. So there's just some little things like that. But I thought that was a very pretty type of program, maybe even like for Mother's Day, to make a mother like a pretty cloth that they can hang up or frame or something like that. So the second program idea is Hack the Painting, which is courtesy of the Ontarian Librarian website. Now, I've heard of people doing this where they take already pre-done canvases. Those sip and paint parties are very popular. You may have went to several of your own, and you have all of these paintings that maybe you don't know what to do with, or you don't want to keep them all. This is a great way to kind of recycle this. So you would need pre-painted canvases, paintbrushes, which they recommend getting the various styles of paintbrushes. You'll need cups with water for rinsing, paper towels, plastic tablecloths, paper plates for mixing, acrylic paint. And I'm going to put refreshments probably on everything because I like to feed people. So they are optional, but I always did think that people came not only for the food, but it helps. So the advice for this one is, check with your local paint and sip companies because they create sample canvases to already ones that are done that they show for participants, but they also create one as they teach. So they may have a ton that they don't know what to do with either, and maybe they'd be willing to donate them. Or you can browse your local thrift stores like Goodwill, because I know I've seen some. But if I go back to it might be hard to see, but that the painting in the front of the house, when we go back to this slide, you can see that they had put the stay away with the balloon and the red into the window, which I thought that was kind of a spooky little addition that they made. So I thought that was pretty fun. So the next one is Let the Good Times Roll Retirement Fair, which I thought was a wonderful idea. This isn't a fair to, it's not your typical retirement fair. This is more, now that somebody's retired and they have a little more time on their hands, what kind of activities can they do? And they're not wanting to work. So, I mean, people do get jobs after retirement, but maybe they're not wanting to work, but they're wanting to be active and volunteer. And so this is kind of a helpful way for your retirees to be able to meet people. So as I said, this wasn't your typical senior fair. There were no healthcare or senior living communities. The Vernon Area Public Library featured local organizations in the areas of recreation, health and fitness, volunteering, and financial legal planning. So what they did was they contacted organizations that promote active retirement. Obviously, you have to have space for the fair. Like I said, refreshments. I'm going to feed people all the time. And really the cost that they had was they did incentives like raffles. So it could be also a low cost type of event. They started planning about 6 months in advance. They brainstormed the local clubs, businesses, nonprofits that they felt would complement their focus on active retirement. They selected only one of each type of organization. So like one fitness center, one theater company. So they didn't have a ton of each type of entities. But they said that they did have to overcome the perception that this was a fair that was for the needs of the elderly. And it's not that type of fair. It was more of, they wanted to help seniors get involved with hiking and painting, gardening, other different activities that they would like to do. So their tagline was, "This isn't your grandma's retirement fair." Their advice is that, retirees need assistance to find enrichment activities that align with their talents and interests. Did they sing in their choir, church choir, or play an instrument in high school? Is that something that they're interested in doing now that they're retired? So maybe trying to find a band that they could play in, or a choir that they could sing in, just to stay active and not just, have those opportunities. So the next one is balloon smash art, which I feel like this is going to get a little messy, but we like messes in the library for the most part in controlled environments. This also came from the programming librarian website. What she didn't put in her notes is whether or not they did this outside or if they just did it inside covered with a lot of plastic sheets. I could see that this might be a really great outside program so that, you could really get into the whole smashing the balloons on the canvas. So however you're able to do that to kind of control that. But I thought this was a really fun idea. This was a little bit more costly because they had to, purchase the canvases, which can be a little more expensive. Obviously, they needed paint. They plastic table coverings, gloves. They had purchased little Dixie cups in case people wanted to combine colors, but I guess in that particular program, nobody really used it. And obviously you need balloons for that. Let me go back. So one way to kind of offset costs would be to have participants bring their own canvas, or you can maybe do smaller canvases than 11 by 14 is not super huge, but you can do maybe smaller ones. The advice for this is, before, whoops, let's go back. Sorry, technical difficulties. Is that you want to research a little bit before you do it. This particular librarian, she had actually done this at home, so she kind of knew the technique. There are instructions that she does provide, which I will have. I have a document that I will give Beth that she will be sending out to everybody that has all the resources for any of the programs that I'm talking about today. So it does come with instructions, but she does give advice to kind of try it out before you do it, mix colors to see what works well together. You don't want things completely looking like mud. So just and then keep track of like, oh, these two colors went well together and things like that. So, and I do believe that with this one, she kept the canvases to dry, and then the participants were able to pick them up afterwards. Also, she said that the participants had a lot of fun and marveled at the many designs that were created. So I just thought that was I think a fun activity, maybe a little messy, but if you have a nice outside area where you're able to do that, or even inside area where you're just able to kind of control it. Who wouldn't want to throw some balloons at a canvas? I think that's a kind of a stress releaser too. So the next program is book bathing. And I was like, what is book bathing? This sounds interesting. This was actually done at a college campus. They had a end of semester de-stress fest, which I feel like we could do that at the library. Everybody needs to distress, especially maybe in certain times of years. That would be a good time to have the event. So one of the activities was this book bathing, and it's basically a guided meditation, that activity that people could pull up a cozy chair, or if you have yoga mats that they can lay on, or some libraries have, the rugs or the pillows, or just that people could relax on. She did end up writing her own meditation script, which is also she provided, so that will be part of the resources as well. And since it was a school, they were able to partner with like the music department, where they actually the students created some music for it, and they were able to record it. But I kind of thought this would be a great opportunity, not only for your adults, but to maybe get some of your teens involved that kind of like to mix music together or help with recording. So it could be some type of partnership between your teens and your adults for this program. Headphones, participants could bring their own, but some I don't think they provided them, but some libraries, maybe you could provide those for them. And um, there's also a little, I believe, a snippet in the resources too that kind of gives you a little idea of the music and how the meditation went. But it's basically it's very kind of low key, I would say, because everybody just has their own headphones. They can download their I think they actually recorded it and saved it onto, I think, a Google Drive maybe, or you could probably do a YouTube so that it was easily accessible for each person. And then they were just able to listen to the meditation, read their books, and just kind of relax and de-stress. So the best advice for this program is, they said, to harness what's already happening in your community and see if there's a local meditation center to partner with their local artists doing immersive art. But like I said, maybe you've got some teens that are savvy in those areas that would like to help create a meditation for your program. So it's kind of being able to incorporate that. Do we have any questions so far, Beth? Or I feel like I'm going very fast.
Nope. Oh, well, let's see. Someone did want to know, Mary, what did they plug into?
For this one,
The
that's a
headphones. Yeah.
excellent question. I'm not sure, honestly. I guess I was assuming that they were using their own maybe phones to be able to do this, but that is an excellent question, and I can see if I can find out what they had said in there. But yeah, obviously, and even my phone now, you can't even plug anything into it. You have to use the wireless headphones. But that is an excellent question, and I will do a little research for that.
Great, thank you. Other than that, just some sharing of ideas. Someone said that Dollar Tree is a good source for canvases.
Oh, awesome. Are they still $1.25 though? Because Dollar Tree now, you got to watch those prices anymore because they. But I'm glad that you guys are sharing in the chat. That's where you can also find some really great information with each other. Okay, so our next program is Who Done It. This comes from Joe Bonner from the Hobart branch of the Lake County Public Library. They had started this, I believe, at the beginning of the year. She was inspired by the Aurora Tea Garden movies, not the books, but the movies about how, solving crimes. Obviously, you're not solving real crimes, but solving fictional crimes. So some of the activities that she has done for her whodunit group is murder mystery sets. She purchased those from Five Below, and for these sets, she sets up 2 rooms. One is the murder scene, and the other for participants to read clues and discuss who they believe the culprit is. She said these are budget friendly, and the engagement and lively interactions from the participants just made it quite enjoyable. You can get into costume, act out things, and then there are cardboard trophies at the end if people really participate. So you can get your little cardboard trophy, which I think is a fun idea. There's escape the room sets from Think Fun. They have done one so far, and she said that the set that they did proved to be the most challenging for participants so far, but it was really fun to do. Hunt a Killer is like a multi-part series that you can do over several months, but they also have standalone sets. She did say this one is a little pricier for the multi-part, but at least you know that you'll have several uses out of it other than just a one and done. Also, just to plug the Indiana State Library, there are escape room kits, experience kits that your Indiana libraries are able to reserve, which are very fun. I would still be stuck in the escape room because without my team, I would not have gotten out. But they're very educational, all about Indiana history, and our team had a really good time doing them. In the resource guide that I do have a link to the reservation for that so that people can see. And then I think this next session that they're going to do, they're going to play Clue, the classic board game Clue, and she has 2 sets to accommodate more participants if needed, because I'm not really sure, I don't remember how many players can play Clue at one time. And then there's also unsolved case files kits from Pressman that you're able to get. Joe is happy to share her kits with other Indiana libraries. So I have her information in the resource guide as well, if you want to reach out to her to see about getting a kit from her, or just getting advice if you want to do your own whodunit. But murder mystery and escape rooms are still pretty popular, so I thought this was a great idea to do and you can tell from the group here, they had broke out, I believe, from one of the Indiana State Library escape room kits. So look at those smiles. They were very excited. So our next program is the Jane Austen Tea Party. This is courtesy of the Akron Carnegie Public Library, also in Indiana. When I visited there and they were telling me about their programs, and this is one of them, I'm like, oh my God, that is such a awesome idea. So she was gracious to give me a whole rundown of what they did to pull this off. So obviously they decorated their meeting room in kind of Jane Austen-esque decor. They were able to, people donated to them teacups and saucers and teapots, old-fashioned tablecloths. For the table decor, they did, paper doilies and vases of artificial flowers. And they had fans for each place setting because that was part of fan etiquette was part of the program. So when guests arrived, they had a welcome table with each guest's name on a place card. And then they also had a space on there to write your Regency name. And they had provided a sheet with already pre-generated Regency names. So like when they were announced introducing Miss Selena Brandon of Churchill. So that was your Regency name. Then they were able to go to the food table and get tea. They had different types of teas with cream and sugar. For food, they had, like the cucumber sandwiches, and I'm not going to be able to say that profiteroles. Say that right. But also just some other finger foods that would have been for the time. While they were enjoying their food, they had a lesson in fan etiquette, or the language of the fan, which she just found some information online. So I have some links for that as well, because the movements meant different things. People were flirting, and you had to make sure that you knew what what people were saying. They also did some Pride and Prejudice trivia. They have a piano in their meeting room, so they had 2 girls that could play the piano, and they had a piano duet, which I thought was kind of a fun idea. I know we have a piano in our meeting room, so that would be feasible. Not everybody does, but even if somebody were to bring in a keyboard, it probably would work as well. After they were done eating, they made Jane Austen bookmarks. And then they also ended the afternoon with a dance lesson in English country dance. Nicole, I believe it was Nicole, who is the librarian that put this together. She actually had taken some dance lessons previously, so she was able to teach that, but maybe somebody attending or somebody maybe that they would be able to come in and do that. She said that the program lasted about 2 hours. They did put an age limit on it, but they did not put an age limit on it, but they did encourage, teens and adults. And I think they just had a couple young ladies come with their parents. But in her advice they had requested that everybody dress, and she said a lot of them did, but a lot of them didn't. So for next year, which they've already have people asking when's the next one, I think they're going to do a best dress contest to kind of help motivate people to dress more. But as you can see from the picture, there was quite a few dressed, and it seemed like a really, really fun afternoon that they had. Okay, our next one is a murder mystery dinner fundraiser. This is courtesy of the Walton Tipton Township Public Library. Now, they did it as a fundraiser. I'm sure you can do it just as a regular program, but I wanted to include it because I thought it was a great idea. And she said that they were able to raise quite a bit of money. Now, one thing I'm not completely clear on is how they raised money, how this was a fundraiser. So that's something I should have probably asked. But they are in Indiana. She did check with the Indiana State Library to ensure that they could do a fundraiser. And they were informed that, as long as they followed Indiana code, which they did, they had got it approved by their board, and then they applied for like a temporary food establishment permit for the food. They also sought out some grant funds to help offset the cost, especially, since it was a fundraiser, so that helped. And then she also partnered with her local high school economics teacher to have a few of her students come in and be like the servers. So they acted as the waiters and waitresses. So that's also another great opportunity to partner. The school actually donated the food, which was great. And a local baker was able to do like the desserts. The local grocery store donated the beverages. So it's a lot of, partnerships with your local community, which I thought was a great idea. And they also had some donated prizes for the I think for the people for the voting of who actually did the murder. So she gave us the whole outline that they used for their murder mystery. She did it kind of like kind of a real life Clue, basically. And I think they did it for 40 people. So as the participants, I don't know if, like I said, if they bought tickets for this and that's how they raised the money, but when they came for their packet, they got a packet with who they were. And then obviously who the murderer was, knew that in their packet. So they were able to do loosely based on Clue, and she provided all of that for us as well, which I thought was wonderful. So that's also in the resource guide. They held dinner from like 6. It was an after hours event. So another reason, of having to have that a board approved. So dinner was held from 6 to 7. At 6:45, they made the announcements that desserts were served in the community room. And then at 7, they started the game. So the killer took out 2 players within the first 20 minutes and had actually killed a third player when the winner was announced around 7:50. So after several incorrect guesses by other players, the winner ended up being Colonel Mustard, and the killer at the time was Lord Peter Wimsey with the knife. And I think they did like streets instead of rooms, it was like what street they were killed on. So so it was a really fun evening that they were able to not only partner with the community and then, make some money for the library to keep doing different programming and things like that. So I thought this was a really fun idea, that I think you can kind of adapt for any library size, honestly. East Chicago Public Library has done 2 different murder mystery programs, where we use scripts. Ours was not a fundraiser, but I think that's a great idea to actually do a fundraiser type. But we also did it after hours with the whole dinner and things like that. So it's a really good time. People really, really enjoyed it. So our next program is Books and Looks. I thought this was fun, especially in the era that we are in with social media and podcasts and videos and things like that. So I think this would also be a great program, adult program to partner with like teens, because it's basically a video. You're doing a video of 2 people. One is like your makeup artist, the other is being made up. And then while you do that, you discuss a book, which I think is a great idea. So maybe your teen is your makeup artist while you are their subject and you get all glammed up and you guys discuss a book. Or it could be, maybe you have guest people come in for makeup, to do the makeup while you discuss books. So it's I think it would be fairly inexpensive, and then it's basically just being able to video record. I know some libraries have like iPads you can do it on. You can even do it on your phone. You can set up a YouTube channel for free and be able to host your videos there. So it's like a makeup tutorial and a book podcast in one. So I thought that was really fun. Extremely fun and creative program that you can truly make your own. Makeup is one size fits all, and reading is magic. So why not combine the 2 and create something wonderful? And there's also, this came from the programming librarian, and there is actually a link to a video so you can see one of the videos that they did. So that's on there as well. Okay, so the 10th one I think I'm the most excited about because I love zombies. So this is Zombie Appreciation Day. The photo is actually from a different program, a zombie prom, but you could have a whole zombie theme. You have a zombie prom and then a zombie appreciation day. I think anybody has one, please invite me because I would love to come. So it's a program it could be for teens and adults that promotes library resources while having fun. So they decorated their space with zombie decor. They had refreshments, and then they had an agenda. They had about 4 crafts, and then in the middle of that, they watched a movie. So if you don't want to do as many crafts, or you can kind of make it your own budget wise, but some of the craft ideas was zombie window art, zombie magnets and earrings, flat felties, and then zombie pop culture trivia with prizes. I guess that's not really a craft, but I just put that under there, so it's all right. And then they also watched a film. So you just want to make sure that whatever film you are viewing is part of your licensing package, and there's a ton of different ones that you can choose from. I think they did World War Z, but you've got Zombieland, you've got all kinds of different zombie movies that, as long as they're part of your package, then you'd be able to view it. So I think also you could probably do like makeup people to look like a zombie. There's just so many different things that you can do. And like I said, I love, that's probably the only type of horror movies I like is zombie movies. So I was very particularly excited about that one. The advice is to be creative, look for things you already own or leftovers from past programs you can add to the crafting material options or zombie related Halloween decor to make the atmosphere more festive. Look online for zombie themed printable decor and crafting patterns. There are plenty available. So this could definitely be a fun summer program, but also Halloween. You can do it in October. Any questions so far, Beth, before I zoom into the last two?
Hey, we had one comment. Christy said, FYI, the $40 per ticket was the fundraising amount for the Walton Library's murder mystery dinner.
Thank you so much.
And then someone else was asking, which library did the Who Done It program?
That was the Hobart library that is part of the Lake County Public Library here in Lake County, Indiana. So yeah, it was their Hobart branch.
Great. And I don't think I've seen any others. If I've missed your question, always feel free to repeat it towards the end. Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you
Lacey.
guys so much. So our next one is Among Us in real life. I don't know how many people know about Among Us. I've actually played this before. It's a pretty fun online game. And this comes from the programming library website, but it is a local library to us, to me. It's the Whiting Public Library. Adrienne DeLuna, she had submitted this to the programming librarian website. And I just thought this was such a fun idea. She did it with their teens, but I think it's highly adaptable to your adults. Among Us, excuse me, is a multiplayer online game where players work together on a spaceship to complete tasks while trying to identify imposters among the crew. The game is set in a sci-fi environment and each player is randomly assigned a role of either a crewmate or an imposter. Crewmates aim to complete tasks and keep the ship running while imposters secretly sabotage the mission and eliminate crewmates without being caught. Crewmates must use communication and deduction to vote out suspected imposters, while imposters try to deceive the group and avoid detection. Adrienne put together a whole step-by-step instruction guide, which is great. That's in the resource guide that I'll be providing to you guys, how to do the whole thing from start to finish. And I know she does it for her teens, and I think it was like an after library type program, which makes sense so that you don't have a bunch of people running through the library while it's open, but I'm sure you could probably still do that somehow while the library is open. But I just know that the game is fun, so to do it in real life, I think would just be an exciting program for adults, or you could do teens and adults. And I just thought that was a really great idea. Her advice, which she had she had a lot of advice, which you will be able to see in the link for that. But what I kind of hit on was that just to have fun. This is definitely one of their top 5 programs that we hold after hours. And then she says, if you have any questions about hosting, that, can please contact her, and her, she provided her email address. So I think any kind of real life role playing is enjoyable. And, you with the Stranger Things, bringing back kind of Dungeons and Dragons, and I think this is just another form that you can have in your library. And the last program is Screen and Stitch. And this is a program courtesy of the Chicago Public Library. I had actually seen this, I don't know if it was on my social media feed, that there was, in a different state than Indiana, a movie theater would have a one night a month a showing where crochet knitters could come, and it was like a lights on movie where they could work on their projects and watch the movie. And I thought that was a great idea, and why couldn't libraries kind of incorporate that? So when I was looking it up, and I saw that the Chicago Public Library was doing it. I'm like, well, that's great. Because I think it's pretty low key for, the library. You just need the space and equipment, obviously, to show the movie. Your movie licensing requirement, have some refreshments as well. But participants can bring their own projects to work on. So you're not really having to provide that for them. You're just providing that environment to be able to sit and watch a movie while they can talk and do their crochet or knitting or maybe some other projects. Maybe you do diamond art or something like that. But I know that when I watch stuff anymore, it's like my hands have to be busy doing something. So I just think that's is a fun idea to be able to do. Or maybe you have a local theater that you can partner with. We used to have one like downtown Hobart, the art theater, but now it's mainly, they don't do movies anymore. They just do concerts and things like that. But that would have maybe been somewhere to be able to partner with, to have a movie there, to like have the actual movie theater experience. But I feel like we can give that to them in the library as well. So that is the last program. And like I said, I have a Google Doc that she'll provide these slides, and then also that Google Doc for you that has everything listed that I talked about, links to different things, so that you're not having to be like, what did she say? So it'll all be provided for you. But I'm hoping that at least one or two of these kind of perked your interest to be able to help with your library, because I know programming is fun, but we do it all the time, and trying to come up with all the ideas sometimes is hard. So hopefully, I say that, we're not stealing, we're borrowing, and it's the highest form of flattery. So
Exactly.
if you have any questions, please let me know. I know I kind of zoomed through that quickly, but
Janet asks, could you put the link in the chat? Which are you talking about, the link to the slides? If you can, or the
uh,
resources link? Oh.
I don't have that up. So I'm not.
No worries at all. We will, Janet, we'll get that to you as soon as possible. Go ahead and fill out the LEU request form, because I will make sure I send all the resources to the people who fill that out also, just to triple check that you definitely get everything that you're looking for.
And write down or take a screenshot or write down my information here at the end with my phone number and email. Please feel free to call or email me if you have any other further questions, or for some reason some of the links don't work, then I can probably shoot that to you. So
Great. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much to Lacey, and I'm going to stop the recording. So thanks to everyone watching this as a recording in the future. I'll go ahead and do that.